Hello, sixth graders. Today we're going to continue practicing finding the minimum, maximum, and range of a set of data. We're going to go over how to find the minimum, maximum, and range in a little bit different way. I noticed that we were struggling to find these pieces of the data last week, so I'm trying out a new way. So we can see here that we gathered data about how many players were sitting at a table, okay? And here is our dot plot representing the data. It starts with 0 and goes all the way till 8. Each dot represents that there was a table with that many people sitting on it. So we see here that at this table, at two different tables, 0 people were sitting at those tables. At 2 tables, 1 player was sitting at the table. At 5 tables, there were 3 players sitting at each table. At 2 different tables, we had 4 people sitting at the table. So we are asked to find the minimum, which is the smallest number of people sitting at a table in our data set. The maximum, the greatest number of people sitting at a table in our data set, and the range. In order to do this, I am going to rewrite the information from the dot plot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start here. I have 0 players at this table. So I'm going to write a 0. Because there are 2 tables with 0 people, I'm going to write 0 2 times to represent that there are 2 tables with 0 people. There are 2 dots above the number 1, meaning there are 2 tables with 1 person sitting at them. 1, 1. I have a dot above the 2 and another dot above the 2. For 3. My second dot, my third dot, my 4th dot, and my 5th dot. So see, I have 5 3s in my data set because there are 5 dots above the 3. 4. I have 2 4s in my data set because there are 2 tables here with 4 people. The 5 has 1 dot, so it only is listed 1 time. The 6 doesn't have any dots above it, so I'm not going to include it in my data. The 7 has 1. 1 dot, 1 number 7. The 8 doesn't have any dots above it, so that means it's not going to be included in my data set. The next step is to find the minimum. The minimum talks about what is the smallest number in my data set. I am not looking here to find the minimum. I am looking at this set of data. What is the smallest number? 0. 0 is smaller than any of these numbers, so 0 is my minimum. When I go to find my maximum, I look, what is the biggest number from my data set? I am not looking at the dot plot. I'm looking at my data set. 7 is the biggest number. 7 is my maximum. In order to find the range, I need to take my maximum, which was 7. I am going to subtract my minimum, which was 0. And that is going to give me my range. This is my range. So, once again, from left to right, I copy my data. There were 2 dots above the 0, so there were 2 zeros. 2 dots above the 1, so 2 ones. 2 dots above the 2, so 2 twos. 5 dots above the 3, so 3 was listed 5 times. 2 dots above the 4, so 4 was listed 2 times. 1 dot above the 5, 5 was listed 1 time. 0 dots above the 6, so 6 was not listed. 1 dot above the 7, so 1 7. 0 dots above the 8, so the 8 was not listed. My minimum is the smallest number from my data set. Notice my data set was written from smallest to largest because I moved from left to right. My maximum is my greatest number in my data set, the 7. And my range is my maximum minus my minimum, and the answer to that is my range.